ready? Let's go. 2-minute daily devo for Monday, February 7th. I'm in the New International Version today, and our verse of the day comes from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. Here's what it says. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. As a youth pastor, like I have been for the past 20-something years, this is one of our go-to verses as a youth pastor. As youth ministers, this is one that we go to quite a bit. We preach on quite a bit because it's such a verse of hope. It's such a verse about the future. And when we're dealing with young people, this is a verse that gives them hope about, hey, there's a plan for me. Just a little background here about when this verse was actually quoted. This is Jeremiah talking to the Israelites, and they had been in captivity and were going to be in captivity for 70 years. But they're in the middle of this and being taken out of their land and being, in captivity and enslaved. And God speaks to the prophet Jeremiah and wants them to remember that they are not forgotten. He sees them in the middle of the trial, in the middle of the trouble that they're in. He says, hey guys, that plan that I have for your life, that plan that we've talked about for years before that you'd heard about, just because you're in the middle of a bad situation doesn't mean that I forgot. Doesn't mean that plan is not going to come to pass. God says, I know what's going to happen. I know the future. I know that I still have a plan and a purpose for your life. And they're good plans. Plans to prosper you. Plans not to harm you. That you're going to have a good future and a good hope. And that speaks to us today. That whatever in the middle that we're in, God has a good plan for your life. God has a future. God has a hope. God wants to bless your life because this is the kind of God that we serve. So I want to encourage you today. I want you to think about this. I don't care what trial you're in. I don't care what trouble you're in. God is a good God, and God has a plan for your life. And it's not a plan to harm you. It's a plan, as this says, to prosper you, a plan to bless your life, a plan to give you a future and a hope. This is the kind of God that we serve. I want to encourage you in that today. Be blessed knowing that God has a plan for your life. All right? That's it, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.